The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the holographic display flickered to life. Ambassador Zixthor of the Krellian Empire leaned forward, his 6 eyes narrowing at the impossible image before him. What appeared to be a small moon was moving through the Andromeda sector at impossible speeds, and the energy signatures were off the charts. "This must be a malfunction," Counselor Vreth hissed, her scales rippling with agitation. "Nothing that size can achieve faster than light travel. The laws of physics are apparently more like guidelines to humans," interrupted Commander Liu Zhang, his voice calm as he stood before the assembly of alien dignitaries. The human representative wore the crisp uniform of the Terran Defense Initiative, metals gleaming under the chamber's artificial light. Beside him stood Dr. Anna Kowalski, chief engineer of humanity's most classified project. The council erupted into chaos. Accusations flew across the chamber in a dozen different languages, translated instantly by neural implants. The humans had been hiding something massive, something that changed everything. It had been 50 years since humanity joined the Galactic Council, 50 years of being treated as the newcomers, the primitives who had barely mastered fusion drives while other species had been traveling the stars for millennia. The elder races had been polite but condescending, offering humanity minor trade routes and backwater colonies while keeping them far from the centers of galactic power. What they didn't know was that humans had been listening, learning, and building. "Project Titan," Anna said quietly, her words cutting through the noise like a scalpel. The chamber fell silent again. She stepped forward, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface. 20 years ago, we began hollowing out dead planets in the Kuiper Belt. Not to mine them, to convert them. The display shifted, showing the internal structure of what had once been a lifeless rock. Now it was a labyrinth of quantum reactors, weapons arrays, and propulsion systems that shouldn't exist. At its core, burned an artificial star, contained by gravitational fields that bent spacetime itself. "You weaponized entire planets?" Zixthor's voice was barely a whisper. Leo smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "We did what we had to do. While you were content to maintain the status quo, we detected something you either missed or chose to ignore. The Void Swarm is coming." The chamber exploded again, but this time with fear rather than anger. The Void Swarm was a myth, a story the elder races told to frighten younger civilizations. Extragalactic entities that consumed everything in their path, converting matter itself into more of themselves. They appeared every 10 million years or so, the legend said. "Impossible," Vreth snarled. "The swarm is a fairy tale. You're using fear to justify your weapons." Anna's expression hardened. She had spent 5 years studying the deep space telescopic data, watching the darkness between galaxies shift and move. She had seen entire star systems wink out of existence, their light swallowed by something that shouldn't be real. "I wish it were a fairy tale, Counselor. But 3 months ago, our deep space monitoring stations detected gravitational anomalies consistent with the historical records. They're 12 light-years away and accelerating." The display changed again, showing a wall of darkness moving through space, punctuated by flashes of consumed starlight. The mathematical projections were clear. The swarm would reach the outer rim of the galaxy in less than 2 years. "Your defensive stations won't stop them," Leo continued. "We ran the simulations. Traditional fleets will be consumed in minutes. But planet-sized warships with self-sustaining ecosystems, capable of fighting for decades without resupply, those have a chance." "How many?" Zixthor asked, his earlier outrage replaced by grim calculation. 17 operational, another 33 in various stages of construction. Anna pulled up a star map dotted with markers. "We've been positioning them along predicted approach vectors. Each one is crewed by 50,000 personnel and can support itself indefinitely." The scale was incomprehensible. Humanity had built a secret fleet that dwarfed the combined military might of the entire Galactic Council. They had done it quietly, using resources from their own systems, never asking permission, never revealing their hand until this moment. "This is an act of war," someone shouted from the back of the chamber. "No," Leo said firmly. "This is an act of survival. We're offering you a choice. Join us in preparing for what's coming or don't, but we will not apologize for refusing to die quietly. The Counselor Vreth stood, her ancient body trembling with emotion. You circumvented every treaty, every agreement. You built weapons capable of destroying civilizations. We built shields, Anna corrected. Weapons that can be shields when the darkness comes. Your treaties were written for a galaxy at peace. But peace is ending whether we like it or not. The hologram shifted one final time, showing the interior of one of the Titan-class warships. Cities sprawled across the inner surface. Forests, growing under artificial suns. Generations of humans ready to fight for centuries if necessary. These weren't just weapons, they were Orcs, designed to preserve humanity even if Earth itself fell. The question isn't whether we should have built them, Leo said, his voice echoing in the stunned silence. The question is whether you'll help us crew them, because we're going to need every species, every mind, every hand if we're going to survive what's coming. Zixthor stared at the display for a long moment, his multiple eyes reflecting the light of the artificial worlds humanity had created. Finally, he spoke. You devious, short-lived, brilliant lunatics, when do we start? Anna allowed herself a small smile. Yesterday would have been preferable. Today will have to do. As the council dissolved into urgent planning sessions, Leo and Anna stepped out onto the observation deck overlooking the assembly. Through the transparent aluminum, they could see humanity's homeworld turning slowly in space, blissfully unaware of what approached. Think they'll forgive us? Anna asked quietly. Leo shrugged. Ask me again after we survive. Until then, we've got work to do. Somewhere in the darkness between galaxies, the Void Swarm continued its inexorable approach. But for the first time in 10 million years, it would find prey that refused to simply vanish into the night. Humanity had seen the darkness and responded, not with fear but with defiance written in steel and starfire. The galaxy had been caught off guard completely. Now it would learn what humans did best: adapt, survive, and fight like hell for every inch of existence.